welcome back to another video. And what we're going to talk about today quickly is we're going to talk about the Rolling Stone. What I want to do is, everybody knows about the Rolling Stone film on my last video. And what I want to do, and I commented back to a lot of people that I was going to put this video out. What I want to do is get enough people to comment back to me with their top 5 guitar players. Now, the criteria, there's no basis for this, your top blues player. I'm not going to categorize this because Rolling Stone did not categorize this. My curiosity is, can we come up with a better list than Rolling Stone? And obviously, I'm going to say, hell yes, we can. So if I can get everybody to send me their top 5 guitar players, and like I said, whatever the criteria, the people you just think are the best, the people who influenced you the most to become a musician, if you play guitar or not, or the people you love to listen to on a daily basis. And I'm not going to put any type of criteria in there, who's the best this, who's the best that. A, because Rolling Stone didn't, and B, because I think Randy Rhoads is like the greatest guitar player that ever graced God's earth, that doesn't necessarily mean you get into his music. So give me the people that either influence you or the people you listen to or simply the people you think are just simply the best. If you like them or not, their music, I don't really listen to Yngwie too much, but you can't deny Yngwie's a beast. You can't deny it. So share the video. If you are not a subscriber, please subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of stuff that I do. But if you're not a subscriber, please send me your 5 songs. You don't have to subscribe. That's a moot point. And if you are a subscriber or if you're not and you've watched the video, share the video. And because we need to compile as much data as I can get in order to make this somewhat of a good list. If 10 people reply, then we've gotten nowhere. And the bigger pool that I can pull from, then the better off and the more accurate the list will be. And what I'm going to do is when you put a comment onto the channel, it sends me an email. And then that's how I'm going to track these, because I'm going to keep all the emails. And, obviously when I read the email, it will let me know the email's been read. And that way I know I've counted that email before. And so I'm going to keep a list of every single guitar player that is sent to me. And then I'm going to compile the data and hopefully come up with a pretty badass list of what we believe, us YouTube people, us musicians, the people watching this, what we believe are actually the top guitar players ever. Now, obviously, I don't want to do 250. I think that was ridiculous. And I'll do as many as we get. If we get up to 100, then I will count all 100 of them. But if we only get to 50, then, well, that's fine too, because let's be honest, after you get past the 50, we're just kind of, throwing darts out there to see what happens. So send me your top 5, and you can send as many as you want, but please do it in one email. If you want to send me 50, that's fine. Send me your top 50, and I will count each name one time. Please do not send me multiple emails of the same thing over and over. Because if I get, John Doe sends me email with his top 5, and then I get 7 more emails that say the same thing, I'm going to kick 6 of them out. Because I don't want to double count the same thing from the same people for the obvious reason. I want to make this as true as we possibly can and as accurate as I can possibly get it. So please share the video, get it out to as many people as you can. And if they want to subscribe, great. If they don't, I don't care. This is not about that. This is about, can we make a better list than Rolling Stone? And if they don't want to send the list, get your friend's top 5 and send me another email. As long as it's not the same exact email, then I will count it. But if you say Steve Vai and your friend says Steve Vai, then I'll count that twice. I just have to clarify that, because sometimes it gets a little confusing. So without that, I'm going to go ahead and throw my top 5 out there. And 3 of these are the reason I started playing guitar. 2 of them are just people I absolutely love. I think their technical proficiency is just off the charts. Randy Rhoads, obviously. Randy Rhoads is the man. Gary Moore, who did not make the list, which is absolutely sinful that he did not make the list. I still can't get over that, and apparently most of you all cannot get over that either. David Gilmour, who's an absolute monster. Love David Gilmour. Obviously Eddie Van Halen. I mean, you can't do it without having... If Eddie Van Halen is not in your top 5, then, I don't know, play a different instrument or something, dude. If you're a guitar player and he's not in your top 5, but, if you're not a rocker, if you're a jazz guy, then I would understand. Or a classical guy, I would understand. And, of course, my 5th is Andre Segovia. Classical. I love classical music. I love Beethoven, classical piano. And if you're not familiar with Andre Segovia, check out some of his music. Obviously, he's not alive anymore, but he was he was to classical guitar what Beethoven is to classical piano. Segovia was just a monster. And on a quick side note, when I went to school for music, the very first class I had to take was a classical guitar class, and my teacher studied under Andre Segovia. So, needless to say, it was a little intimidating going into that class. I mean, this guy knows guitar like I know my own face. I mean, it was just bizarre watching this guy play guitar. Watching him tune his guitar was absolutely horrifying because he was so good. And I'm in there like blink, 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 blink like an idiot. And the funny thing is, this guy had an endorsement, and where people gave him his classical guitar, and they're damn good guitars. Actually, his endorsement was Taylor, but he made his own. The dude made his own classical guitars. So needless to say, that was intimidating at the most going into his class. I mean, it was just ridiculous watching this guy play guitar. But those are my top 5. And I've based this on I am a rocker, I am a metaler, so I do lean heavily towards that side. Randy Rhoads, which was an absolute beast, had that very classical influence in his music, and just I love Rhoads. For a guy that only put out 2 albums, he had so much influence on so many guitar players with such a small body of work. It's just, I mean, I there's not enough words to explain what Randy Rhoads meant to me as far as playing guitar. And of course, David Gilmour, who's just an absolute beast. Gary Moore, which is one of my favorites of all time. And then, of course, Eddie Van Halen and Andre Segovia. So, however you get to your 5, send me those 5. And then I'm going to compile this list. I'm going to keep this up for a few weeks. And then I'll start compiling everything. And then hopefully in a few weeks, if it takes 3, 4, 5 weeks, I'm going to keep it up until the emails start to wane off. And then I'll start compiling everything. So enough on that, but real quick, this is the comment I wanted to make. Maybe I should have clarified on my last video. You all sent me some amazing guitar players, a lot that I've never even heard of. So thanks for that. Y'all gave me tips, man, I mean, so many great players I didn't even know were out there. And it was really cool, just all the different music that you guys are listening to. And I love that. And that is what I enjoy about my channel is when you all send me comments, I answer back, and then you all answer back, and we go back and forth. I love doing that stuff with you all. I really enjoy that because the stuff that I learn, I know a lot about guitars, and I know a lot about music, but I learned so much from you all. I love that. It is fantastic. On everything, I'm in there doing a video on how to set up a guitar, and if somebody fires something, hey, dude, if you'd have done this, damn, I never even thought about that. I love that idea, and then I start doing that. And the same thing with the music. You also gave me so many tips on these great players that I've never heard of, and that was awesome. And I just want to say thank you all for commenting. I had a blast commenting back to you guys, and I'm still getting comments on that. And 99% are positive. You always get that 1% of the people who hate you, and that's just part of having a YouTube channel. That's okay, because guess what? I reply back to them also. And usually even the ones that hate me, the last thing I put is thanks for the comment, my friend. Because even though you hate me, I do not hate you. So let's get that straight. But again, I want to thank all of you all for the comments. That's been fantastic. Thanks for the tips. If you all get a chance, read all the comments and look at all the different guitar players. I guarantee you a lot you've never even heard of that you might want to check out. And that's just been fantastic, and I really appreciate that. And I can't say that enough. I love it when you guys comment to me and I get a chance to talk back to you guys. But when I said, and a lot of people made a comment, you're leaning towards the shredder side. And it's really weird because a lot of y'all said, that might have been cool in the 80s because shredders still exist. And actually, shredding's coming back. We had that little part in the 90s going to 2000s where, oh, we don't play solos, man. It's all about the song. All that meant is you could not play guitar. I'm sorry. That's all that meant. I don't want to hear any excuses. You can comment on that if you want to. That's all that meant. But, we got a lot of shredders out there that are coming back, dude. And it's coming back hard and heavy. I mean, hard and heavy. But when I say shred, to me, over the years, let me just clarify this. Shred has become to me kind of a catch-all term. Andre Segovia shreds. He just shreds classically. Stevie Ray Vaughan shreds. He just shreds blues. Obviously, you got Randy Rhoads, Steve Vai, Gilmour. And then the list goes on forever. Of course, Gilmour, he's more of a soulful shredder, more of a feelings shredder, which is what makes him great. But to me, Gilmour shreds. And I guess I should have clarified that a little more. And I said, when I consider shred, I consider your technical ability, your prowess on the guitar. Um, the composition is what makes a song. Let's be honest. Without a good composition, you don't have good anything. But, and I replied this to one of the people who commented to me, I don't care how good your composition is. What makes your composition great, what makes the song have feeling and have soul is either great lyrics, great melody, or a great guitar solo. And if you don't believe me, just listen to Blues for Narada by Gary Moore. No words, just listen to the guitar. And if you can't feel that, then you're dead inside. You're absolutely dead inside. If any of those three things fell, then I don't care how good the composition is, the composition fails. And so when I'm talking about shredding, I'm talking about your entire ability as a musical composer on a guitar. Your ability to put the right chords together, to play the right notes when you're soloing. I'm not talking about playing a billion notes an hour. Although that is cool, and I got to admit, I'm guilty of it. I love doing it. There's nothing better than watching a dude blast when he's coming out to the end of his big guitar solo and he just takes off and freaking rips. Because if it wasn't cool, nobody would do it. And I'm going to say this, and a lot of people are going to get mad at me, but a lot of people who don't do it, they don't do it because they can't. And I'm not knocking those people at all. It is very hard to play a lot of notes very fast. That takes a lot of time. That's not something you just sit down and do. And, and I know a couple of guys are like, well, I just don't like to play fast. It's just, it's not about how many notes you can play. And you're right, it's not. But they don't like to play fast because they can't. And I'm not knocking them again. I'm not saying that. But it kind of irritates me when people berate shredders. And 9 out of 10 times are people who can't shred. So therefore, they berate them. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with shredders. I mean, you're going to tell me Yngwie Malmsteen's a bad guitar player? Steve Vai's a bad guitar player? Give me a break. These guys are brilliant. They're geniuses at what they do, and they just happen to be shredders. So I wanted to clarify that because I got a lot of feedback on that. And maybe the way I said it, maybe it did sound like I was singling everybody into that one little genre. But to me, shredding is kind of an overall thing to me. David Gilmour is a shredder. The dude can absolutely well on a guitar. And it's not about speed. It's about the proficiency you have on a guitar, your tastefulness, and your ability to make us feel and think. That's what it means to me. I should have clarified that, and I did not. So therefore, I apologize to all of you all. But, a lot of people called me out on it. I appreciate it. And I told them back, I said, I agree. I should have been a little more clearer in my phrasing of what I was thinking. And I'm talking with my hands. I talk with my hands a lot. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up right there. This has gone on much longer than I wanted it to, but it is what it is, and it's only going to be about 8-minute videos, so be thankful because most of my videos are like an hour long. So send me your top 5 or top 50. I don't care. Share the video as much as you can because the more data I can compile, the better off this list is going to be. And like I said, if I only get 10 people, there's no point in during the list. So please subscribe to the channel. If you're not a subscriber and you want to submit your list anyway, fantastic. I don't care. I would like for you to subscribe, but if you don't, that's fine too. I still want your top 5, 10, 15 guitar players. I still want those. So if you share the video, get it out to as many people as we can, then that way we can actually compile a list and embarrass the hell out of Rolling Stone, which I think is going to be very easy to do. So I'm going to wrap that up right there. And like the great Sammy Hagar says, if you miss the beat, you lose the rhythm and nothing falls into place. And that includes shredding. I had to throw that in there. And on that note, send me your top 5. And for the love of God, whatever you do, rock on.